Morning Year 5, here are your answers from yesterday. That's the practice and then the extension, and I've included E and F for those of you that might have had a go at that as well. Here is your Fluent in 5 for today, so please pause and have a go. Right, I'm going to whiz through this one. Oh, I'll give you the answers first. Here are the answers. Okay, I'm going to go through C for those of you who want a little bit of more help with multiplying by 2 digits. Okay, so starting with 8. 8 times 0 is 0. 8 times 6 tens is 48 tens. 8 times 8 hundreds is 64 hundreds. Add those 4 is 68 hundreds. 8 times 7 thousands is 56 thousands. Add those 2, give us 62 thousands. Okay, so just like last time, I know it's 7 tens, but I'm actually going to do 7 and make everything 10 times smaller. But the answer, of course, will be 10 times bigger because I'm going to put a 0 there. 7 times 0 is 0. 7 times 6 is 42. 7 times 8 is 56. Add those 4 is 60. And 7 times 7 is 49. Add those 6 is 55. And then adding those together, this is how we come up with the answer 613,080. Right, moving on then. So yesterday we were looking at adding decimals with 1 decimal place. Today we are moving on to 2 decimal places, which is actually very, very useful because that is exactly what we do when we add together sums of money. So let's have a look. Maya has 2 1p coins. Omar has 7 1p coins. How much money do they have altogether? So what we've done first is we've converted those amounts into decimals. 2 1p coins, 0.02 pounds, and 7 1p coins is 0.07 pounds. And then adding them together, we work in exactly the same way, but this time we've added on an extra column. So we've got 2 hundredths and 7 hundredths, add together to make 9 hundredths. Let's have a go at one of those. Can you add together for me, please? 1.28, add 1.35. Have a go at that and then unpause for the answer. Okay, same as last time, I'm going to line up my ones, my tenths and my hundredths. And because it's addition, we're going to start on the right hand side. 8 hundredths add 5 hundredths is 13 hundredths, which is 1/10 and 13 hundredths. 2 tenths add 3 tenths add 1/10 is 6 tenths. Decimal place stays in the same place. And then I've got 2 wholes, giving me 2.63. How did you get on? What about if we need to exchange? Let's have a look. This time then, we're adding 0.08 and 0.26. So exactly the same way as before, we've built the 2 numbers. Because we've got more than 10 in our hundredths column, we're going to change them from 10 hundredths into 1/10, okay? And then on the abstract, it looks like this. And here is your answer. So, I want you to have a go at one now then with 1 exchange. So could you have a go at 1.09, add 2.37, please. Have a go at that and then unpause for your answer. Okay, going to write it in a vertical format then, just like we would do if it was whole numbers. And starting with my hundredths, 9 hundredths add 7 hundredths is 16 hundredths, 1/10 and 6 hundredths. 3 tenths add 1/10 is 4 tenths. And I've got 3 whole ones, so the answer is 3.46. Okay, what about if there's more than 1 exchange then? Let's have a go at one of those. So the example for you is here. So they've taken away the visual representation now. Doesn't mean you can't draw it if you don't need to. It's just showing you the steps that we go through to add together if you have more than 1 exchange. So I'd like us to have a go at one then. Let's do 2.68 added to 1.5 2.57, please. So write it out in a vertical format, have a go and unpause for the answer. Okay, 2.68, add 1.57. Okay, hundredths first. 8 hundredths, add 7 hundredths is 15 hundredths, which is 1/10 and 5 hundredths. Sorry, 1/10 and 5 hundredths. 6 tenths, add 5 tenths, add 1/10 is 12 tenths, which is a whole 1 and 2 tenths. And then wholes, I've got 2 and 1, add 1, giving me 4, giving me the answer 4.25. Right, okay, let's have a look then back at the practice. We've got 13 hundredths, so it's just checking your understanding here of regrouping. So if we had 13 in the hundredths column, we then have 1/10 and 3 hundredths. Okay, so that's 1/10 and 3 hundredths. 7 hundredths, add 4 hundredths, makes 11 hundredths altogether, which is 1/10 and 1 hundredth. Okay, have a go at these. Can you pause for me? Have a go at A, B and C of 11 and then we'll talk about the answers together. Okay, so hundredths first. 8 hundredths add 4 hundredths is 12 hundredths, which is 1/10 and 2 hundredths. There aren't any more tenths and there are no whole ones, so it's 0.12. This one, 8 hundredths and 9 hundredths, 17 hundredths. 1/10 and 3/10 and 1/10 is 5 tenths, 0.57. And then last but not least, just quickly do this one for you, 4.22. Okay, this time then I would like you to put these into a vertical format. Be careful, they don't all have the same amount of decimal places. Have a go at them and then I will go through the answers when you unpause the video. Okay, first of all then, 4.5, 4 whole ones and 5 tenths, and 6.48. Notice they don't have the same amount of decimal places. Mentioned this yesterday. I like to put a 0 in there just to show that there aren't any hundredths in that number, and then we'll add them together. So 10.98. This one, £10.25. £6.35. Again, there's no tens of numbers there. You could put a 0 there, but you don't tend to write money like that, do you? You don't have a 0 there. So you don't need to. Okay, let's just add that up. Okay, £16.60. And then the last one. If I was doing this calculation, 1.99 and 1.05, that I might do something other than doing it mentally. Can you have a think about what that might be? Okay, so what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to pretend that's 2 whole pounds. I'm going to add it to £1.05 and then I'm going to take the penny off again at the end. So I'm going to add the penny on so I can do it mentally, £3.05, and then I'm going to take the penny off again at the end, giving me £3.04. But if you did do the written method, just to prove that it does end up in the same place, £3.04. We do need to start trying to spot when we get a calculation, just like in Fluent in 5, and decide whether we need to do it mentally or with a written calculation. Right, your practice for today then is practicing adding some of those decimals together, if they have 2 decimal places or sometimes a different number of decimal places. A few different ways of looking at it. These ones, really thinking about making sure you know what you're saying. When I'm going through the addition, I'm talking out loud all the time. I'm doing a commentary of my work. You need to be able to do that as well, even though your commentary might be inside your head. And the second page is there for you. So again, exactly the same thing, but just some different ways of looking at it. You've got some number lines here as well. So you can still do the calculation in the same way to work out the answer. And if you should get that finished today and you've still got some time left in your lesson time, there are a few reasoning problems here for you to have a little go at. They do require a little bit of thinking. So if you've struggled on the addition of the decimals, you can stop after the practice. But if you want to challenge yourself a bit, there are some challenges here for you. I'll come back tomorrow with your answers.